And now, time to talk sports matters on CEMTV. Stay with us.
Sensational, absolutely sensational, The All Blacks press forward with a driving run. White 5 for 3, it's good. A huge shot. The puck drops in this gold medal game.
So Egypt forward Mustafa Ziko has slammed the referee following the 3-0 or 3-2 defeats to Argentina in the round of 16 of the 2026 FIFA World Cup in USA, Mexico and Canada. He further suggested that the competition has been rigged in favor of La Albiceleste of Argentina, which refereeing decisions were controversial during that very match. Did Ziko, what's it like? Is he right with his claim? How did the referee's performance affect Egypt's chances of progressing to the next round of the ongoing FIFA World Cup? And for Lionel Messi and Argentina, they are through to the last 8 of the tournament. Speaking of Messi, he leads the 2026 FIFA World Cup Golden Boot race with 8 goals, following after games in the group stages, the round of 32 and the last 16. He scored in bucket low so far at the tournament. It's closely followed by Kylian Mbappe of France, Erling Braut Haaland of Norway, who have both scored 7 goals, and of course Harry Kane of England. Harry Kane is in the conversation with 6 goals as well. So it's getting really interesting as regards the race for the Golden Boot this very summer. Who's the most favorite, to win the race for the Golden Boot at the ongoing FIFA World Cup in USA, Mexico, and of course Canada? Would it be Messi, Mbappe, Haaland, or who? Of course, about let's say players from 75 different domestic football divisions have appeared in the 2026 FIFA World Cup so far. The Premier League has got the most number of players in the World Cup, followed by the La Liga Santander, the Italian Serie A, the German Bundesliga, the French League also go on to mention. Interesting times. Now with that I say welcome to Sports 360, the World Cup edition right here on CEM Television. I'm that name, the voice you trust and that mayor you probably need. They call me Rex Patrick the Locker, that's homeboy that's never at home. I lock around 247-365. I'm your host and guide. Okay, now we looked at results from the games played in the morning across different centers. 2 games from last night at the ongoing FIFA World Cup, the last round of 16 games. So now let's look at it again, because Argentina head coach Lionel Scaloni has now revealed that his players gave him the nickname called Crybaby because of his emotions, because he's overly emotional. All right, so he gets overly emotional when the team is down. And so of course we saw that at some point they were 2-0 down against the Pharaohs of Egypt. Scaloni said this to reporters after Argentina came from 2 goals down to beat the Pharaohs of Egypt 3-2 in the World Cup round of 16 encounter played on Thursday. In his words, he said, and I quote, "I always get emotional. Sometimes the tears come out. The tears came in the dressing room too." So, of course, he's been a key part of Argentina's triumph since being handed the job. He went on to say that the boys even call me the crybaby, but I don't care. For all of us who play soccer for 20 years, to feel what we felt against Egypt is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Scaloni will now hope to guide Argentina to victory when they face Switzerland in the next fixture in the quarter-final. Scaloni's side happened to be the defending champions after winning the trophy 4 years ago in Qatar, and are looking to go all the way to make it count this time around. Meanwhile, the defending champions produced one of the most dramatic comebacks of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, recovering from 2 goals down. At some point they needed 13 minutes to score 3 goals. 13 minutes in 3 goals to set them right and through to the next round of the competition. Interesting times, I tell you, for what it's worth. Of course, let's look at how a summary of the game. For Egypt in the first half, they made a dream start when Yasser Ibrahim headed home from a corner, and that was in the 15th minute of the game. Argentina had a golden chance to equalize, but Lionel Messi's penalty, was saved by goalkeeper Mustafa Shobir, keeping Egypt in front. Egypt defended with discipline and took their lead into halftime. And in the second half, Egypt produced their advantage. That was in the 67th minute of the game through Mustafa Ziko, putting the Pharaohs within touching distance of a famous upset. Argentina responded with relentless pressure. Of course, in the 79th minute, Christian Romero, the sportsman, headed in to make it 2-1. And in the 83rd minute of the game, the captain of the side, Lionel Andres Messi Coutinho, redeemed his earlier penalty. Of course, it was a miss. He got a penalty, missed that one, but then he had himself redeemed by scoring the equalizer. And then a time came at about 90.2 additional minutes when Chelsea midfielder Enzo Fernandez completed a comeback with a powerful header to steal a stunning 3-2 victory and propel them to the next round of the tournament. And that's the last 8. So RB Celeste are looking to build on what they've done so far at the tournament. Now there are some key talking points. Egypt impressed for over 75 minutes with organized defending and dangerous counter-attacks. Goalkeeper Mustafa Shobir was outstanding, including his penalty save from Messi. Argentina showed resilience and experience, scoring 3 goals in the final minutes to keep their title defense very much alive. The match also featured controversial video assistant referee decisions that sparked protest from the Egyptian camp after the final whistle. Now, a lot to talk about this very game. Argentina looked destined for elimination, but demonstrated the qualities of champions with that remarkable late comeback. Egypt exited the tournament with pride after pushing one of the favorites to the limit, while Argentina advanced to the quarterfinals in one of the most memorable matches of the tournament. And on the backdrop of that very encounter, Egypt forward Mustafa Ziko has now slammed the referee following that 3-2 defeat to RB Celeste in the round of 16. He wasn't happy. He wasn't a happy man. He further suggested that the competition has been rigged in favor of La RB Celeste of Argentina. Speaking of that defeat from a 2-goal lead, he said the officiating by the French referee, talking about Francio, wasn't good enough. It was unfair. The officiating was unfair, according to Ziko, Mustafa Ziko. He also made a sarcastic remark implying that La RB Celeste is destined to win the World Cup, which he claims has been rigged in their favor. He says it's been rigged in their favor. He said in his words, "Congratulations to Argentina on the World Cup. The tournament was rigged. They didn't need anything else. The referee was unfair. Unfair. Whoa, crazy times." But for the most part, very, questionable decisions made by the official, the center referee yesterday. Some moments that needed a review. Was waved off. Some moments were waved off. Moments that needed, the referee to have a review. So Mustafa Ziko is not happy, saying congrats to Argentina. The World Cup has been rigged in their favor. Crazy times. The match between Argentina and Egypt was marred by several controversial refereeing decisions. In the 58th minute, Zico's goal was disallowed due to a foul on Lisandro Martinez during the build-up. And guess what? Where the build-up happened? Very much in Argentina's half. Very much in Argentina's half. Okay, so they said, it wasn't meant to be because it was a foul on Lisandro Martinez. Now, the Egyptian team also believed that 2 fouls occurred, leading to the winning goal scored by Enzo Fernandez in added time. 90 plus 2 minutes. The Chelsea midfielder rose. He came to the party and ensure that he had the ball well tucked into the back of the net to send the fans agog. That was just enough to do their manager proud and thrill their supporters. However, both the video assistant referee and the on-field referee determined that there was insufficient evidence to validate Egypt's 58-minute goal or to disallow the late goal scored by La Albi Celeste of Argentina. Earlier in the match, Yasser Ibrahim had given Egypt an early advantage with a header that was just 50 minutes into the game. Lionel Messi missed a penalty after Argentina, were awarded a spot kick in the 21st minute. Mohamed Salah assisted Zico, who then scored, to extend Egypt's lead in the 58 minutes of that very encounter. 2-0. But it seems to be a stock in trade for African teams at this tournament. They get to score, but holding on to the lead has been a major problem. A very major problem, best believe. In the 79 minutes of the game, Messi found Christian Romero, who scored to provide Argentina with a crucial goal just 4 minutes later. That was in the 83rd minute of the game. Messi himself scored to level the match at 2-0 for La Albi Celeste. Enzo Fernandez then secured the victory for Argentina with a header. In the dying moments of the match, 90 plus 2 minutes on the clock. Consequently, Lionel Messi and his teammates have advanced to the quarters of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. So, do you agree with Mustafa Zico that they were robbed somehow? The World Cup has been rigged. Has he got valid points? Which refereeing decisions were controversial during that very encounter? Is Zico right or wrong? Which of the decisions were wrong? Do you think? Which of the decisions do you think were wrong? How did the referee's performance affect Egypt's chances of progressing to the next round? Were they in any way robbed, in a manner of speaking, in that very encounter against Albi Celeste of Argentina? Interesting times. Not the best times for the Pharaohs of Egypt, who are not happy right now after being knocked out. But how did they get to throw away a 2-goal lead? It's not every day you see such. Cape Verde did something quite similar. We've seen several teams, Senegal, go on to mention. African teams stuck in trade. The last 15 minutes of the game at the World Cup has not gone well for African teams. For the most part at the tournament, from the group stages to the last 16. From the group stages, the round of 32 to the last 16, we've seen similar incidents. African teams failing to hold down, or hold on to a lead. It was a comfortable lead. Trezeguet was introduced. Was there any need for that introduction? A defender was, if you ask me, needed at that point in time to shield the back line, to provide cover. But no, an attacker was brought in, and then the guys were absolutely conservative for the most part of that very encounter. They were so conservative, and the pressure kept coming in. They tried their best, gave their quota, but guess what? It wasn't just enough to set them aright. It wasn't enough. No, it wasn't enough. They should have done better, performed better than what we saw in that very encounter. They had everything working for them momentarily, but had the chance blown away for reasons. Yeah, for some reasons we do not know, but for some, at least valid points, in the sense that a goal being disallowed, some calls waved off by the central referee, and all of that. We quite understand that, but then it was a 2-goal lead. Up until the 75th minute of the game, they were the better of they had everything going on for them positively. They had a lot going on for them positively in terms of the scoreline. But then they were playing against a very experienced Argentine side, current holders of the title, of the trophy, the World Cup trophy. So the Argentines kept on piling pressure upon pressure on the shoulders of the Pharaohs of Egypt, and it paid off at the end of the day for the South American side. As you know, they came up tops at the end of it all. They didn't even get into extra time. It ended in regulation time. That's the mark of champions. Of course, Argentina came into the game well prepared. They were the better of the two in terms of ball possession. 58% ball possession to Egypt's 42%. And the Argentines recorded about 17 shots in that very encounter. 17 shots, 7 on target, with 3 goals coming out of it. For Egypt, 4 shots, 2 on target, 2 goals to show. Argentina had about 599 passes to Egypt's 337. Pass accuracy for Argentina, 71%. For Egypt, 83%. Come on, crazy times. But then, for the Pharaohs of Egypt, they live to fight another day. We wait to see what happens, in the next round. Because now, Albi Celeste of Argentina have got Switzerland to worry about in the quarterfinals. And some would say the draw for them has been seemingly easy compared to some other teams. There are no easy games at the World Cup, yeah? But then, maybe the draw seemingly favorable, but then they finished top of the group in the group stages and got into the round of 16, won convincingly, and I mean that they built their way through to where they are at this point in time. So I quite understand, but then it's for Egypt. It's disappointing. Yeah, I know. I quite understand. Yeah, I mean, but that's a story. Not being the best of times. Now, let's talk about, some top scorers at the ongoing Mundial in USA, Mexico, and Canada. And, speaking of the top scorers, Lionel Messi of Argentina leads the 2026 FIFA World Cup Golden Boot race with 8 goals to his name. Followed closely by Kylian Mbappe Loton and Erling Braut Haaland. Yeah, Mbappe of France, Haaland of Norway, and the two guys have scored 7 goals apiece. And of course, Harry Kane is also in the conversation with 6 goals to his name. Yeah, so the race for the Golden Boot is absolutely competitive. The race to secure the Golden Boot as the tournament enters its latter stages is a tightly contested. It would be a tightly contested affair. Yeah, it's tightly contested by some of the football's biggest names. The names you know already. These are the names leading the chart. Yeah, regular names: Messi, Mbappe, Haaland, Harry Kane. The top scorers and assist standings at the tournament so far has got Messi top on the log. So Messi has got 8 goals to his name with 1 assist. Kylian Mbappe has got 7 goals, 2 assists. Erling Haaland of Norway has got 7 goals, no assist. Harry Kane has got 6 goals, 1 assist to his name. So now, with the quarterfinals, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and finals still to be played, the Golden Boot remains wide open. The race for the Golden Boot remains wide open, and the leading scorers have got additional opportunities to add to their tallies. Yeah, the total number of goals they've scored so far at the tournament. So the big question is, who's the most favorite to win the race for the Golden Boot at the ongoing FIFA World Cup this very summer in USA, Mexico, and Canada? Who's the most favorite? Messi, Mbappe, Haaland, Harry Kane? Who's the most favorite to win the Golden Boot at this summer's FIFA World Cup, the Mundial, ongoing in USA, Mexico, and Canada? Interesting times. Well, of course, it's a keenly contested affair when you have some of the best players in the world, some of the best attackers, so long as the round leader game is concerned currently, jostling for the Golden Boot award. So it can only get better or even more interesting going into the latter stages, the quarters, semis, and of course the finals. Last time out, we saw Mbappe and Messi, jostling for the Golden Boot, and even in the final, they came through scoring and trying to help their respective teams. This time around, the rivalry, is here. Yeah, they started off from where they left off. So Qatar 2022 was a remarkable event. But USA, Mexico, and Canada, has also got some really exciting scenes, really big situations, exciting situations, with the regular names very much in the conversation. This time around, Erling Braut Haaland is in the mix. Mbappe, always in the mix. When you have Mbappe, you have Haaland, you have Harry Kane. Oh, Harry Kane, he's such a great guy, a real bundle of energy. He's led the Three Lions of England, the captain of the side, not just by reputation, but by fact. Mr. Harry Kane is his name. So, I love watching him play. He's a fox in the box, just like Mbappe, just like Haaland, just like Lionel Messi, just like Lionel Andres Messi Coutinho. So, what's it like? Who's the most favorite to land the Golden Boot at the FIFA World Cup 2026 in USA, Mexico, and of course Canada? Interesting times. Now, let's tell you that at least 17 players are, walking this disciplinary tightrope ahead of the 2026 World Cup quarterfinals. The players are one yellow card away from suspension for a potential semi-final match. This is due to their bookings in the last 16 of the competition that rounded off on Tuesday. About 4 of those players represent Morocco: Issa Diop, Ashraf Hakimi, Ridwan Halal, Bilal El Kanous is also one of those players. England also have 4 players, namely Jude Bellingham, Nico O'Reilly, Declan Rice, and McGay. So, of course, potential suspensions. 3 players from France. Of course, the French side have got the duo of Michael Olise and Manu Kone, also at the risk of being suspended going into the next round of the tournament. Switzerland's, Granit Xhaka, Denis Zakaria, and Miro Mohim face the same situation, while Spain's Ferran Torres, Norway's Antonio Nusa, Belgium's Brandon Michel, and Argentina's Gonzalo Montiel complete the list. So interesting times for these players. They need to be really careful, else even if they get to beat or qualify to the semi-finals, if they're not careful, they could be suspended going into the last 4 of the tournament. So they need to, at this point in time, caution is the word. Caution is indeed the word at this material time, looking at all of these players. Alright, so now let's talk about the quarterfinal pairings at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, because we've reached the last 8 of the tournament. Of course, with 8 teams remaining after an exciting round of 16. We're looking forward to what they got in store. First, we'll get to see, let's talk about the matchups right now. France against Morocco, July 9th. Spain versus Belgium, July the 10th. Norway versus England, July the 11th. Of course, Albi Celeste of Argentina versus Switzerland, July the 11th. So we get to see that as well. What's it like going into that very one? And let's look at how the teams got here. The quarterfinalists got here. Let's look at their run to a place in the last 8. For France, they defeated Sweden 3-0 and then edged Paraguay by a goal to nothing. Morocco eliminated Netherlands on penalties before Canada defeated beating Canada by 3-0. For Spain, they beat Austria 3-0 and then eliminated Portugal by a goal to nothing. Alright, so Belgium overcame Senegal by 3-2 before defeating the United States by 4-1. Norway upset the Ivory Coast and then shocked Brazil with a 2-1 victory. England defeated DR Congo before a dramatic 3-0 victory over Mexico. Argentina beat Cape Verde by 3-2 and followed it with another 3-2 win over Egypt. Switzerland defeated Algeria and then advanced past Colombia in a penalty shootout after a goalless draw. The winners of France versus Morocco and Spain versus Belgium will meet in one semi-final match. While the winners of Norway versus England and Argentina versus Switzerland will contest in the other semi-final encounter. So the players, are one yellow card away from suspension for a potential semi-final match. So they need to be really careful. This is due to their bookings in the last 16 stage of the tournament. Of course, that was concluded on Tuesday. So we're really looking forward to what these ones have got in store. Interesting times. I tell you, the teams will need to be really wary. For England, Jude Bellingham is in the conversation. Jude Bellingham, Nico O'Reilly, Declan Rice, McGay, or yellow carded, going into the quarterfinals of these very one. And then you talk about some other teams like France. I told you before now, the duo of Michael Olise and Manu Kone are also at risk. Yeah, they've also been yellow carded at the ongoing FIFA World Cup in USA, Mexico and Canada. Switzerland's Granit Xhaka, Denis Zakaria and Miro Mohem will face the same situation, while Spain's Ferran Torres, Norway's Antonio Dusa, Belgium's Brandon Meschel, and of course Argentina's Gonzalo Montiel complete the list. So interesting times. I don't know what it is for the side, but then the 2026 FIFA World Cup has reached the quarterfinal stage with 8 remaining teams already after an exciting round of 16 match. I don't know what it is for these two sides of the teams involved, but then they need to up their ante. They need to, work on the lapses going into the knockout, going into the quarterfinal stage, because it won't be business as usual. If they fail to up their ante, they'll be made to pay dearly for that, because there's a lot at stake. A place in the semi-final. All right, so gradually the World Cup is coasting towards the end. Oh, interesting times. But then it's just about who wants it more. It's about knowing your onion inside. It's about getting the job done and ensuring that the key moments are taken seriously. Interesting times. So all of them teams, wishing them the best going into that quarter-final stage of the World Cup in USA, Mexico and Canada. You know what, we just have to put a pin right here. We can't go any further. Been a great time with you out there, and I tell you for free, you are the real MVP. But then I'll leave you with some of the great moments from the previous FIFA World Cups. All right, so enjoy, sit back and enjoy. This is the World Cup edition of Sports 360 right here on SEM Television. I remain that name, the voice you trust and that mayor you probably need. They call me Rex Patrick the Locker. Bye for now.
And now, time to talk sports matters on SEM TV. Stay with us.
Sensational, absolutely sensational, sensational. I've seen him